Great athletes, but 23 minutes, cramped. Says a lot about guys, what they're eating. Obviously, score's lopsided, but I was happy with the game. This team won at Arkansas Little Rock their last game. And got a guy coming in fourth in the nation in scoring. So, everything's a process. There's anytime you step on the floor, you're trying to have kids show that they're improving in the areas that they need to improve. We did a lot of that tonight. We still got a lot of areas that we need to improve on. But in a game like this, you're trying to get your younger guys as many minutes as you can. A guy like Mamadou trying to get his confidence going. Get Trevor Moore to get a made three, get his confidence going. And just certain things defensively in our communication that we're trying to practice and get better at. And obviously, pressing almost got us back into the game in our one loss. And we tried to work on that tonight in the first half. We worked on it hard yesterday in practice. It's just an area where I think we can continue to improve as a team in our anticipation off the ball and in our hands in the passing lane. So a lot of good things happened tonight out there for us. Obviously, game, the score got a little out of hand, but we made a lot of shots. So I think we started off 4 for 4 from 3, if I'm not mistaken. For a team to play zone, they're a zone team, so that put them in a really bad spot. Makes coaching a lot easier when the ball goes in like that.
We were told there was a record
67 deflections. Yeah, and I don't know. I'm too old to really remember deflection records. I do remember we created 31 turnovers, and we played NC State my first year, and we won because they didn't have a point guard, but they had 5 high major players, and we had a bunch of guys I signed in May to have a basketball team that year. And we think we got NC State for 31 or 2. That's the most in a long time.
That was Brackman's team, I think.
Yeah, exactly. He was on that team. Or I don't know if he'd switched over by then to baseball, but that was that team. Mm-hmm. They were a good team. They had made the tournament. Somehow we just trapped every pass. It's the only chance we had was somehow, and we won that game. But I hadn't seen that many turnovers in a long time. But our mental approach to the game was really good tonight. We stayed focused on playing well and didn't get caught up in the scoreboard. We never got selfish at any point in the game.
Trey was saying that as the game went on, it's a good chance to try some things that you worked on in practice, but where guys don't have to be going against each other, whether it's a new defense or different plays or something like that.
Yeah, it's a good point, and it's for other guys to try it. Whenever you get a chance to get guys minutes and develop guys, because that's a big part of who we are. That's why we've had continued success, because we've been able to rebuild from within our program. It's hard to rebuild. You got to rebuild with first-year players. It's tough. But yeah, I think people are starting to see the real Rashawn Fredericks. Starting to see he's a tough kid. He's confident. He's going to help us a lot. Getting his confidence going. And when I say that, I'm more in his defense, because he's starting to figure out how we do things defensively. He's talking and communicating really well.
A game like this help you prepare for UNLV?
I haven't seen him yet, so I go one game at a time. I've always done that. Now I've watched it. I watch you in the summer. I watch film. So that was their team last year. I think it can hurt you if you get worse. See, to me, you're either I don't know who said this one, so it's not my line. But every time you play, you're either getting better or you're getting worse. Because everything's about habits. And not that he's a personal friend of mine, but I'm a fan. It's just why Nick Saban is the way he is. with the media too. It's the way, everybody thinks it's autopilot, you're just gonna win. And he realized how hard it is to keep kids focused. And you're either gonna get better or you're gonna get worse. You're gonna get worse if you're not focused.
I think you got better tonight, though.
Yeah, I thought we got better. Our focus was great considering, the situation, the opponent, and it stayed. I was happy that it's. Last year we played them was similar, and we were awful in the second half. Go ahead, you look, and we only ended up with 70-something points.
11 of 19 on threes. Have you been seeing that in practice?
Yeah, I've always said this. I'm not a comic, but perimeter shooting comes and goes like your high school girlfriend. I don't know if yours ever calls you back.
I think I married her.
She stuck around that long?
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. Oh.
Good chance to arrest Jaron, obviously.
Yeah. There's no point. Well, he's been dealing with a calf strain, so he wanted to play. But then at halftime, there's just no point. He's got just a sore spot on his calf. So I guess when you get garbage can calves, it's easier to strain them.
Tonight, any indication on Prince and Laquille?
Yeah, they're both probably they're both going to redshirt. I'm 100% on Laquille. Prince, he doesn't really understand, because where he's from and all that. Even though he's one of the smartest guys on campus and he got admitted to Princeton, I have to explain to him what redshirting means. So I gave him the story about Justin Jackson and SK. We won 27 games. And from January on, Justin was having a great year. Every time we'd be on a bus on the road, he'd always put his arm around me and say, "Man, I wish I'd have redshirted." Because how great he would have been if he'd had one more year. He might have got drafted. He was all league and defensive player of the year in the league. And how good he would have been if he'd have had one more year. So both those kids are just tremendous kids. And they got a chance to be good players because they're both Prince is really talented scorer. Laquille can do everything. He's got great attitude and great toughness. So there's just no point in wasting a year.
Besides, what kind of improvements after tonight do you guys think you can still make?
A lot of areas. I'll tell you, out of bounds underneath defense is, special situations that win games. Teams are getting we try to steal the ball every time the team has to take it out under their own basket. That's why we have our biggest guy on the ball. So last year we were second in the nation in fewest points allowed, but we were first in steals. So that's an area we're not giving up baskets, but there's too much confusion and not enough, very few steals this year. So like there's just one specific area for you. Individually, we can all get better. Keith is getting high deflection, but there's at times off the ball where he can improve. So there's a lot of things. But I thought our zone offense to start the game, our passing was great. You can always get better with a half-court execution.
Still concerned with the offensive rebounds. They got 13 tonight.
Well, they missed a lot of shots. So when you talk about rebounding, it's all about percentage. So we missed 23 shots, and we only got 8. We're usually in the 40 percentile. So if you we try to make sure we're getting at least 40% of our misses or more, and obviously you want to hold teams to way less than that. So there's always areas. When you're denying though, as much as we were, the more you spread out and deny, it's hard to be a great defensive rebounding team because your defense is more. Teams that tend to pack it in are going to be better in that area.
Does Moore's three turn things around for him?
Yeah, I tell you, he's going to make shots. I'm more worried about his defense and taking care of the ball. He had 3 turnovers against George Mason. So the reason he didn't play in the Ole Miss game was just I got options. You can play because Logan's such a great defender, and he's a very good rebounder for a guy that plays point. You can play him at the 2, and gives you an extra ball handler and a guy that rebounds above the rim. Trev's in a fight for playing time, and you can't turn the ball over because your turnovers would kill you. In that Ole Miss game, I knew that if we had fewer than 10 turnovers, we were probably going to win. That's how they played. They're either going to foul you or they're going to steal the ball. So if you don't turn it over, I knew we were going to make a bunch of free throws. So we'll see. I mean, Trev's just got to keep battling, trying to get better. I'm not worried about him making open shots. I'm more worried about him not turning the ball over, especially at big games on the road against, teams that really get after you. That's been his weakness.
Can you kind of give your first thoughts, first true road game being all the way out west Vegas, and what you guys need to do to get out of there with a win?
Yeah, we actually, usually we play a certain amount of bye games, but, I just think it was a chance for us to play a road game against a friend of mine, Marvin Menzies, and I are from the same coaching tree with Rick Pitino. He's a great guy. Desiree actually called me. She's their athletic director, and they were looking. And the really truth of it is, it's so hard for us to get home games because we're at Ohio State and Xavier next year. We needed a home game next year. So that's why I said, well, I'll come out this year so you guys can come back. Trying to make sure we always have some name opponents coming in December. And we're obviously working on trying to get another one. So that's really how it happened. But Desiree used to work here, their athletic director, so we have a relationship. But every road game is tough. So I made the guys, when I walked into the locker room, I saw in the coach's locker room, Penn State just beat up Virginia Tech. Ranked team lost to an unranked team. So you just got to show them. It's hard to win on the road. And this group, this is our first road game. So we got to handle the road trip professionally in a business manner. Understand that everybody's tough at home. People don't go away at home. You got to play even if you get up early, teams don't go away at home. So you got to play some road games to get ready for your conference.
Mick, do you like to do anything different to combat the time zone difference, or just kind of roll with that?
Well, I go to sleep anyway, so it's just, no, we don't, I've heard about stuff like that in football, like they stay on the same clock. That's all too confusing for me. Mike and I have the best trainer strength coach combination in the country, so I just kind of do what they tell me. I ask them how we should handle stuff, and Mike Brayfelt and Bob Mangine are a lot smarter than me when it comes to that. So, however, what we're doing is going Thursday.
Okay.
So we'll practice Thursday and then fly out. We'll practice at UNLV on Friday. So that gives you a chance to adjust a little bit. Because we charter back right after the game. So.
How rare is it for a freshman to be as ready defensively as Logan is, to make the kind of impact that he is?
Oh, it's rare. Jacob did it. Gary did it. Logan, obviously, in a different position. Logan's a superior athlete, just like his brother. That's why his brother defended his way to the NBA, and Logan knows that. Great advantage when I don't have to sell Logan Johnson on the importance of defense. He's got a brother that signed a $50 million contract because of defense. That didn't play as a young player, didn't get recruited high, went to Fresno State, didn't even play as a freshman, couldn't get in the game. And then didn't get drafted and made his way through the D-League, playing hard and playing defense. So he gets it. I mean, he's seen his family's whole world change because of Tyler's defense. So I don't even have to sell him on it. He already knows. But he's got unbelievable quickness and athleticism. He's going to be a great player, as you know, in time. The more comfortable he gets on the offensive end. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, man.